All right. It looks like we are live. It looks like we are here. So I will give everyone a moment to roll in, make sure nobody misses anything. Obviously, as you guys can see from the thumbnail and the title of this video, we are going to be talking first and foremost about whether or not Pete Hegseth is a war criminal, as some are alleging. So we will find out, but I'm going to give everyone a moment to roll in. We're going to talk the latest news out of Venezuela. I will be taking your questions. We'll be doing Q&A. You guys know that I love talking with you all. So have your questions ready to go. We'll take questions throughout the show. And obviously, super chats get priority. Members get priority. Let me make sure that in the video description box, I did not forget to put the link for the memberships. Let me check that real quick. Let me make sure I got all of that for you and you guys. Yes. So the link to join the membership is in the description box. There might be some changes coming to that, so that I would just go right now with the lower membership. Go with the cheaper one. We might end up having to roll everything into that because I think I might have made a mistake, and I will remedy that and fix it for all of you. So thank you very much for being here. So we're going to talk Hegseth. I'm going to lay out the controversy as I see it, what we know, what we do not know, how this is likely going to end. Then we'll roll into Venezuela. We'll get to all your Venezuela questions. We had more bombers in the air, although I don't think they flew down all the way into the Caribbean today. But we'll discuss all of that and much more. So I like the fact we're all here. This is going to be a fun night. We have plenty of stuff to discuss. We've already got some super chats rolling in. Thank you very much. We'll give it a couple more minutes while we give everyone a chance to roll in. We will just go through. So I have a poll right now in the comments whether or not you guys support the boat strikes. We are at 92% support the boat strikes with 169 votes. So 92% of the people here support the boat strikes so far. Love to see it. Love to see it. So, yep, we've already got the double. We've got Eagles fan Clark Frank. The double tap order came from the admiral in charge. Trust me, we're going to talk about all of that and much more. We've got some USA flags on the screen already. I'm ready for news about my home country, David, but also USA is the best. Are you from Venezuela? I assume that must mean if you're from Venezuela. We've got Traveling Tramp saying, I think it could come as soon as tonight. So maybe strikes start tonight. If strikes start tonight on the stream, I will see. We got another one, cruise missiles and bombers tonight. If it goes tonight, we will obviously immediately pivot to that subject. That will take precedent. But so far, so I'm going to give everyone to the 5-minute mark to get everyone in here. We've got Scott saying present and accounted for. That's good. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I have recovered from my severe concussion, fortunately. Doing well after that. The bruising on the eye has mostly gone away, which is obviously great. So what else we got here? So we'll give it another minute, get everyone in there. So we've already got people throwing theories out about the boat strike and whether or not there were actually any survivors. Let's get a good conversation going. We do got to keep it appropriate. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble. I'll be in big trouble. So just please keep it appropriate, keep it respectful. Only subscribers are going to be allowed to comment. So I've got it set to make sure that we don't have absolute chaos. We've got Colombia in the house. Thank you very much. We've got Trinidad in the house. Damn, we've got an international audience. We've got people from around the world here. All right. Is everyone ready to go? So, okay. All right, here we go. All right, we're going to roll into it right now. And again, send your questions. I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to take a lot of questions throughout. We've got trusting the mainstream media is stupid. Absolutely correct. The mainstream media is nothing, full of liars and losers and clowns. So that is it. All right. So why are we here tonight? What brought us here today? Let's just cut straight to the chase. The fact of the matter is that there is an all-out assault right now on President Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth in order to essentially remove Hegseth from his position of power as the Secretary of War. And the issue they have chosen to latch onto is the first September 2nd boat strike. Now, I want to let you know, I cannot show you the video. It appears that YouTube has banned me from showing the video of that boat strike. And I know that because I tried to show it the other day and the video got restricted. So for everyone who's got their super chats coming in, just know that I do see your super chats. I will get to them shortly, but we got to lay the groundwork. So on September 2nd, 11 narco terrorists from Tren de Aragua were killed in the first boat strike carried out by the United States of America. Why are we blowing up drug boats? What is the logic behind the drug boats? The logic is quite simple. We are not going to let narco terrorists push poison and drugs, whether they're coming from Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, because keep in mind, we've blown some up off the coast of Mexico too. The logic is we will not allow terrorists to poison our people, to kill our people, to wreck our communities, and flood their violence and drugs into our community. Might have happened under the Biden administration, not going to be tolerated in Trump's second administration. So at the start of September, President Trump ordered a drug boat leaving Venezuela loaded with narco terrorists to be absolutely obliterated. That was the order. That is what happened. Then on November 28th, the Washington Post came out with a report that they had double tapped the boat, and they alleged that this was a huge, unprecedented war crime. Now, what does it mean to double tap a target? It means you shoot it twice, whether that's with a rifle, a bomb, whatever it might be. A double tap means you are following up on the strike. Is a double tap automatically a war crime? The answer to that is absolutely not. But I'm going to put this on the screen. So it says, this is the original. So what you see on the screen here now is the original Washington Post report. It says the longer the U.S. surveillance. So I'm going to read it to you for those who haven't read it. There's some details about SEAL Team 6 in here that are going to be very important when we talk about Venezuela. It says the longer the U.S. surveillance aircraft followed the boat, the more confident intelligence analysts watching from the command center became that the 11 people on board were ferrying drugs. Hegseth gave a spoken directive ordering 2 people with knowledge. The order was to kill everybody. Make note of that because that's very much in dispute. A missile screamed off the Trinidad coast. So for all of our Trinidad viewers, there you go. Trinidad is in the fight. It sounds like we launched the missile not long from Trinidad, igniting a blaze from bow to stern. For minutes, commanders watched the boat burning on a live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. 2 survivors were clinging to the smoldering wreck. The special operations commander overseeing the September attack, which is Admiral Bradley, I believe, the opening salvo in Trump's war on suspected drug traffickers, ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions. The 2 men were blown apart in the water. Hegseth's order, which had not previously been reported, adds another dimension. Some current and former U.S. officials and law of war experts say it is unlawful and may expose those to prosecution. So they are saying that Hegseth and others might now be arrested because of this situation. So make note of that. That's going to be very important. Even if the U.S. were, so it's saying they did not pose an imminent threat. That's a very important line because when people think of that, they think, oh, they must have been shooting. You got to be shooting at someone to pose an imminent threat. Not true. There's a variety of ways you can pose an imminent threat. And by the way, I'm not saying what did or didn't happen. We do not know. We do not have the full evidence. We have not seen the video alleging that the Washington Post has that 2 people were hanging off the side. To be quite clear with you all, I find it very hard to believe a Hellfire missile hit a 40-foot boat and anybody survived. But they are claiming that they did. So that is the allegation. So now it says right here, the commander overseeing the operation from Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, told people on the secure conference calls the survivors were legitimate targets because they could theoretically call other traffickers to retrieve them and their cargo. He ordered a second strike to fulfill Hegseth's directive that everyone must be killed. Later in the day, President Trump released a redacted 29-second surveillance video showing it. So now the other SEAL, I'm going to get to the SEAL Team 6 part here. So it says Bradley heads JSOC, the military task force responsible for this. I'm going to highlight this on the screen. SEAL Team 6 conducted the intelligence collection and targeting from this attack, according to two people, which means SEAL Team 6 is inside Venezuela. We are going to get to that in a little bit. So this is what they are alleging, that there were survivors and the survivors were then hit with another missile. So this is what has started this whole controversy. Does that alone make this a war crime? The answer to that is absolutely not. Now, there are rules about what happens with incapacitated people or people who are surrendering. The argument can be made that if the drugs are still on a boat, the boat could then be picked up by other traffickers. The cargo must be destroyed, and thus you have to bomb it again. Maybe they didn't know there were survivors. Maybe there were no survivors. Again, we do not know. So right here, I just saw a comment that I want to put on the screen. They are terrorists. When dealing with terrorists, all rules are off the table. Well, when dealing with terrorists, you got to be harsh. You got to be firm. You have to be overwhelming with force. But we still do, the United States, follow the rules of war. The question is, did this violate the rules of war? So here's what Hegseth had to say shortly after. This was his first statement. I'm going to put this on the screen for you all so that you can see it. So after the situation kicked off, Hegseth responded to this. He said, as usual, the fake news is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. As we've said from the beginning and in every statement, these highly effective strikes are specifically intended to be lethal kinetic strikes. We're not here to pat you on the back and say everything's going to be okay. We are here to take you out. That is what he is saying. The declared intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. Every trafficker we kill is affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. It said the Biden administration preferred the kid gloves approach, allowing millions of people, including dangerous cartels and unvetted Afghans, to flood our communities with drugs and violence. The Trump administration has sealed the border and gone on offense against narco terrorists. Biden coddled terrorists. We kill them. Our current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law. So they have lawyers. They have a lot of lawyers that have to sign off on all of this, right? They have to get lawyers involved. There are lawyers every step of the way, and the lawyers have deemed that this is lawful. Again, I'm reporting you the facts and the controversy surrounding it. Our warriors in Southcom put their lives on the line every day to protect the homeland from narco terrorists, and I will always have their back. So that is what Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, said happened. Now, that is not all that he said. I'm going to put this on the screen for you as well. He further stated, we have only just begun to kill the narco terrorist. So Hegseth is making it clear we are not stopping at all. So we got a good super chat here, kind of sums it up. From Riptide, $10. Thank you very much. Roosevelt said, speak softly and carry a big stick. Trump said, we're going to take those sons of bitches out. Both appropriate. They are drug terrorists. My trained eyes confirmed. Well, yeah, when you watch the videos, you can clearly see the drugs in the videos. We got another one from Rob Stoops. Not a war crime the first time. So you're saying, are you saying you're good with the first strike, but not the good strike or second strike? And then for $5, Tony 2A bet, boat was the target destroyed. So that is one of the theories. One of the theories that is out there is that the second follow-up strike had absolutely nothing to do with the survivors, if there were survivors. The theory is the second attack, the second bombing, was to sink the boat, and that was the main objective. What is the truth? That's what we're here to try to figure out. So Hegseth says the targets have just begun. And then the New York Times, I can't believe the New York Times is the outlet that actually defended Hegseth. Think about what a crazy world we live in. So this is from the New York Times, one of the most liberal, anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-conservative outlets in the world. They come out and say Hegseth ordered a lethal attack, but not the killing of survivors, officials said. Amid talk of war crimes, the details and precise sequence of a September 2nd boat attack on the Caribbean are facing intensifying scrutiny. So then it goes down. It says the Trump administration defended the legality of it, and it raises. So let me go down to where it is. So here we go. I'm going to highlight this. According to 5 U.S. officials who spoke separately and on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter that is under investigation, Hegseth, the head of the September 2nd attack, ordered a strike that would kill people on the boat and destroy the vessel and its purported cargo of drugs. But each official said Hegseth's directive did not specifically address what should happen if a first missile turned out to not fully accomplish all of those things. And the official said his order was not a response to surveillance footage showing that at least 2 people on the boat survived. Admiral Bradley ordered the initial strike and then several follow-up strikes. So now that says several, doesn't say one. That makes it sound like the boat got hit multiple times that killed the initial survivors and sank the disabled boat. As that operation unfolded, they said Mr. Hegseth did not give any further orders. So that is in direct contradiction to what the Washington Post said. The Washington Post says Hegseth ordered the killing of survivors. The New York Times says, no, he did not. So again, we're laying the evidence out there. We're just putting it out for everyone to go. So here we go. I want to make sure I have the right thing here. The written order did. So Hegseth's written order did not address what should happen if people survived the first strike. So then furthermore, 2 officials also said Mr. Hegseth made no oral directive beyond the written order. So the New York Times is reporting he absolutely never told anybody to kill anybody. And this is right here. The military, can you read that? The highlighted part, argued the cargo remained a threat and a lawful military target because another cartel-associated boat might come to retrieve it. So they are saying right there that he never ordered it. It was lawful. They were a threat because of their cargo, and the objective was not to kill survivors. That they didn't even possibly know there were survivors. It was to sink the boat at the bottom and make sure its cargo was completely destroyed. Obviously, it was. So Hegseth then came out further and said, let's make one thing clear. Admiral Mitch Bradley is an American hero. That is the Admiral of the Navy SEAL. Admiral Bradley was a member of SEAL Team 6, is an American hero, a true professional, and has my 100% support. I stand by him in the combat decisions he has made on the September 2nd mission and all other sense. America is fortunate to have such men protecting us. When this Department of War says we have the back of our warriors, we mean it. So Hegseth is saying in no uncertain terms that he backs the double tap decision. He agrees with the double tap decision in that he backs the admiral who did it. Now, I'm going to put this up on the screen here for all of you. And let me get it ready to go. So we're going to go full screen here. Then we're going to take some questions and comments. But first, let's go full screen. I am going to play this, and then I'm going to do a poll. We're going to do a poll in the comments.
There wasn't one strike.
The poll will be, is Hegseth innocent? So let me make sure. We're going to end our first poll. Let me get the poll ready to go. Start poll. Is Hegseth innocent? All right, let's get the voting going in the poll, and then let's watch these comments while people vote. Strikes. This was from today where Trump and Hegseth addressed the strikes on the drug boats, which the polls showed you guys overwhelmingly supported.
Somebody asked me a question about the second strike. I didn't know about the second strike. I didn't know anything about people. I wasn't involved in it. I knew they took out a boat. But I would say this, they had a strike. I hear the gentleman that was in charge of that is extraordinary. He's an extraordinary person. I'll let Pete speak about him. But Pete was satisfied. Pete didn't know about second attack having to do with two people. And I guess Pete would have to speak to it. I can say this. I want those boats taken out. And if we have to, we'll attack on land also, just like we attack on sea. And there's very little coming in by sea. I think we've knocked out over 90% of it. There's very little, and I understand that. There's very little. We're saving hundreds of thousands of lives with those pinpoint attacks. It's an amazing thing when you see a boat going along. And, a lot of the press would like to say they're not, you see the boat, they're not maybe drugs. You see these boats. First of all, who has 5 engines on the back of a boat going in weird directions and loaded up with lots of white containers? They're bags or things. No, they've done an amazing job. And Peter's done an amazing job. Pete, you could probably better answer the question.
No, you're spot on, sir. I think you got to start with the baseline, which Marco laid out, everybody's laid out. We've got 20 million people invading our country over 4 years. We don't know where they're coming from. That includes Tren de Aragua and cartels and violent criminals. They bring drugs, and you mentioned it, Mr. President, poisoning, an intentional poisoning of the American people, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans.
So this is the point I've made to you guys many times before. I'm going to interrupt Hegseth. We're going to pause the video for just a little moment here. These people, these drugs ruin lives. They destroy communities. They destroy families. They kill our great citizens. That is the baseline fact we are dealing with here. And we have made the decision as a country and as our political and military leaderships have, we're not going to tolerate it. And we are going to use lethal force when necessary to stop these drug boats from coming into America. But I want to know what you guys think. Fire away in the chat. Do you want to see these guys handled this way, or do you think we should not?
So the president had the courage to designate these cartels as designated terrorist organizations. Now, a number of us here served in the military and spent 20 years fighting terrorists like Al-Qaeda and ISIS on the other side of the world. How do you treat Al-Qaeda and ISIS? Do you arrest them and treat them, pat them on the head and say, don't do that again? Or do you end the problem directly by taking a lethal kinetic approach? And that's the way President Trump has authorized the War Department to look at these cartels. And I wish everybody could be in the room watching our professionals like Mitch Bradley, Admiral Mitch Bradley, and others at JSOC and SOCOM and other commanders. The deliberative process, the detail, the rigorous, the intel, the legal, the evidence-based way that we're able to, with sources and methods that we can't reveal here, that make sure that every one of those drug boats is tied to a designated terrorist organization. We know who's on it, what they're doing, what they're carrying. All these white bales are not Christmas gifts from Santa. This is drugs running on 4-motor fast boats or submarines that we've also struck. No one's fishing on a submarine. And I have empowered them to make that call. Now, the first couple of strikes, as any leader would want, you want to own that responsibility. So I said, I'm going to be the one to make the call after getting all the information and make sure it's the right strike. That was September 2nd. There's a lot of intelligence that goes into that, building that case and understanding that, a lot of people providing information. I watched that first strike live. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do. And by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back. And the American people are safer because narco-terrorists know you can't bring drugs through the water and eventually on land if necessary to the American people. We will eliminate that threat, and we're proud to do it.
So that right there was Pete Hegseth not backing down from the strike, not backing down from the September 2nd strike, making it clear as Admiral Bradley's back. He 100% supports what he did. And quite frankly, this leads me to this question. how much should we care about this situation? Do we know for sure a war crime was committed? Do we know Hegseth ordered it? Right now, what the media is doing is pushing a narrative it is already predetermined to be accurate. And that is Hegseth is 100% a war criminal. Hegseth is 100% responsible for this, and he has to go. There's an old saying, you can only be conned if you want to be conned. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I know all the facts of the case. And neither does anyone watching this, neither does anyone in the media. Because quite frankly, the only people who know the truth are the people that were in the room when the order was issued and who have seen the full strike footage. And I will tell you this, Admiral Bradley is a SEAL Team 6 guy. He's a high-ranking SOCOM commander. I don't believe for 1 second, knowing the lawyers involved and knowing the way this works, that he just decided, let's go commit a bunch of war crimes. I believe the lawyers likely set up a framework where he felt he was operating within that framework. I will tell you this, I've had multiple people reach out who worked with Admiral Bradley, and they have nothing but good things to say about him. They say he's a rock solid guy, very, very smart, makes great decisions, is slow and methodical with how he makes his decisions, doesn't just rush to make decisions. But at the end of the day, it's not even about the admiral. The admiral's executing orders. It is about the politicians behind him issuing those orders. So that's the chain of command. It goes president, secretary of war, and then down to where the strike is actually conducted. Here's the other thing. War is nasty. War is dirty. A lot of things can be violent. A lot of things can be brutal. Doesn't mean it's a war crime. And I know there's some liberals, got to get repositioned here. I know there's some liberals and snowflakes out there who just can't stomach the idea that bad people sometimes got to die. You know, I had a guy who was that I know that fought in the Battle of Mogadishu and Black Hawk Down. And he said some people just need to be killed. And I would argue if you are pushing drugs into this country, and I'm going to get to your questions here shortly, so keep them coming. I can see them. If you are pushing drugs into our country, you are a threat to our people. You are an immediate threat, and you should be dealt with as such. You should be crushed. Body bag or handcuffs is what I always say. And yes, we do have rules, and we follow those rules to the T. And we, as the United States of America, the most moral army, the most moral military that has ever existed, go out of our way to protect civilians more than any other military in the history of the world. That's why I'm proud of our military. That's why I'm proud to be an American. But the fact of the matter is this: if you're a narco terrorist, you're not a civilian. You are a legal combatant. You are a terrorist, and you're going to get treated like any other terrorist, whether it's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, whatever it might be. So I'm not shedding any tears at all for the fact that a bunch of terrorist scumbags have been killed in boat strikes. I think it would be a travesty for our country to allow the drugs to continue to flow in. So let me check the poll results real quick. So we've got 251 votes. 84% of you are standing with Hegseth. So I'm going to get to some questions now. All right, we've got $5. I'm from Romania. I can't speak on Hegseth since I'm not an American and we don't have all the facts yet. Romanians love Americans, down with Russia. I love Romanians as well. I've never been to Romania. I know a bunch of people who have. They love Romania, so that's a very cool thing for you to say. Thank you for your support to us. We also support the good people of Romania. Jeff Bezos, was that supposed to be something at oh, that's funny. Geez, you're going to get me in trouble. Yeah, Washington Post, not a big fan of their work. And they push the narrative. They're the ones who started this. In the New York Times of all places is the outlet that came out and said, no, you guys don't have all the facts. The facts are this. We've got the Washington Post and the New York Times, two outlets that are generally working, I wouldn't say hand in hand, but they're on the same side of every issue. The New York Times is now fighting with the Washington Post about this. All right. So we got this guy's from Venezuela. So he says, My family's from Maracaibo, Venezuela, and the area they live in has a large Maduro forces presence. Will my family be safe if they don't fight? I assume you mean if they do fight. Obviously, I can't guarantee the safety of anybody, but we're going to talk about Venezuela here shortly. But the target packages for Venezuela are going to be military bases, government housing where the leaders might be, airfields. We might drop paratroopers onto oil fields to stop Maduro from blowing them up. The United States of America, again, we do not target civilians. We are not coming to fight the civilians of Venezuela. We love the civilians of Venezuela. We love the good people of Venezuela. Our fight is with the Maduro regime. Our fight is with the dictatorship of Nicolas Maduro. That is who we are after. That is who we have a problem with. That is who we are going to put an end to once and for all, hopefully. So I pray for your family. I hope your family stays safe. If they're not a Maduro regime leader, your family should be just fine. So thank you for the support. We are with you. We stand with the innocent people of Venezuela that Maduro has his foot on the neck of. All right, we've got Hegseth is a war hero. What else we got here? Who's going to kill Maduro first, Cuba or the USA? As we talked about, the Cubans reportedly are going to his bodyguards, for those of you who don't know, Maduro's bodyguards are actually not Venezuelan. They are Cuban. And they have been ordered reportedly to take him out if and when he attempts to flee. So let's see what else. We all know the mainstream media hated the Hegseth nomination from day one. They've been waiting for this moment. 1,000% true. 1,000% true. They absolutely despise him for many reasons. One being that he's a real guy. He's not a guy in the system. He's outside the system. He was a man who's close with the regular troops. Obviously was very popular on Fox News. So yes, they have hated him since day one. Let's see what else we got here. We got some good stuff. So exactly, it is war. Do they expect us to be sitting ducks? That's exactly my point. This is a war against narco terrorists. Wars are not clean. We, as the United States of America, do our best to make sure innocent life is not impacted. We do our best to make sure civilians are not caught in the crossfire. We are not a military that finds it acceptable to kill civilians. We find it the exact opposite. In fact, our rules of engagement, as people who've been over there will tell you, are so tight that it actually puts our soldiers at more risk than they need to be at. Why do we do that? Because we are the world's shining light on the hill, and we hold ourselves to a standard no other military in the world would dream of holding itself to. So, but at the same time, that's why we're blowing these guys up at sea. It minimizes civilian casualties to essentially zero if the targets are who they say they are. So that is a great point. War is dirty. It is ugly. Here's a good one. Most people have no clue what's really happening behind the scenes. They just run with whatever headline flashes first. Yeah, that's a major problem in America. Most people in America don't do their research. That's why when I try to put a show together, I try to get multiple different news reports. I try to cross-reference everything. As you guys know, I read the reports in real time to you so you guys can see what is going on. Americans need to get better at just reading as much as they can because that is what is important. One of the reasons the U.S. military is so expensive is because we make everything so precise to prevent as little collateral damage as possible. Yeah, we have the smartest weapons in the world, and that's not cheap. We have the ability to put a missile through a specific window on a building to take just one person out. We don't even have an explosive on the missile. There's 6 blades. It's called the Ginsu missile. So, yes, that's very expensive. All right, I see some super chats coming in. We'll get to those now. So, yes, we have someone here saying to our good Venezuela friend who had a super chat, the American military will go to great lengths to keep your family safe. That is in response to a young man from Venezuela asking if his family will be safe. 100%. Look at every major conflict the U.S. has been in modern times, and the incredible lengths we've gone to make sure civilian casualties are as minimized as possible. Again, we put our own people at risk. Talk about the Battle of Fallujah in Iraq. We could have gone on and just flattened the whole city and gotten all the bad guys, and it would have cost us a ton of civilian casualties. And George Bush, whether you love him or hate him, said, we're not doing that. We're not going to risk civilian casualties. We're going to put our own guys at risk, and we're going to go door to door and take these guys out. We got Traveling Tramps. Wow, $50, big super chat. Thank you very much. That is awesome. As soon as WAPO report came out, CNN, NBC, ABC, and the rest of the motley crew tripped over themselves to report it too. Will they report the New York Times story as well? Probably not. Let's not fool ourselves. They don't want the New York Times story to be true. They want the Washington Post story to be true. They want to absolutely bury Hegseth. And as Hegseth says it's not true, the New York Times says it's not true. And I can't believe I'm using the New York Times as a source here, but that is what they are saying. So show us the evidence. We got Toby back in for $2. Thank you for your prayer for my family. No Maduro. Yeah, Maduro is terrible. He is a gangster. He's a narco-terrorist. He's a dictator. And he allows Iran, Russia, China to have influence in our hemisphere. He's got to go. He's got to go. Maduro is a piece of trash, and we will deal with him one way or another. We got Riptide for $5. This is some about oil. It's not just about drugs. Let's not pretend. Either way, I support it. Controlling oil is the main play. Let's be honest. I talked about this in a past live stream. The oil, so Venezuelan heavy crude is not really clean enough for the U.S. market. But oil here does actually play an important part, and it's not what most people think. Where does Venezuela send a lot of its oil? Where does the oil in Venezuela go? It goes to China. We might be in a shooting war with China in 2 to 5 years. China imports their energy. They import their oil from Venezuela. If we believe we are going to be in a shooting war with China, it would be a strategically smart decision from the United States government to make sure that the oil flow the Chinese military depends on no longer exists. And if you get rid of Maduro, the oil will also come to a stop. So let's see what else we got. I think this is more about keeping, we got Tony 2A bet. I think this is more about keeping Russia and China and whoever else out so we don't have another Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, so that's literally kind of the point I just made. We don't want China, Russia, or Iran to have any influence in our hemisphere at all. We don't want them to have safe refuge in our hemisphere. We do not want them anywhere near our hemisphere. And we don't want the resources in Venezuela going to them as well either. So what we are doing is we are drawing a line in the sand, and we are saying you're not going to be allowed to do this at all. And that hopefully works, because if you knock out the oil to China, you've scored a huge strategic victory before a single shot has been fired. So here you go. Yes, the U.S. does not want or need the oil. The U.S. does not want China to have it. 100%. 100%. The U.S. will go above and beyond to eliminate the collateral damage. However, Maduro is the type of dictator that will purposely put his people in the way of danger to make the U.S. Look evil. Well, I've talked about how they're planning a false flag. I've talked about how Venezuela is planning a false flag attack to blame on the United States. Thank you. It looks like you're a member of the channel as well. So thank you guys. All of the members who have joined up, thank you very much. You can find the link in the video description. So it says 330 billion barrels as of 2023. Venezuela is home to the largest known oil reserves of oil. Yeah, and we don't want China to have it. David, has there been an update on whether that tanker of that chemical to help Venezuela refine the oil? The Russians. I actually did see some reporting the tanker might have been able to make it there, but I could not confirm that. I don't know if that's Russian and Venezuelan propaganda. I don't know if the U.S. was ordered to let it go through by President Trump. I don't know. I've seen conflicting information, so I want to make sure I'm not giving you. I don't want to tell you I know for sure because I don't. All right, here we go. So let's get into some Maduro updates then. I've got some notes here I'm going to share with you. Note number one, and we talked about this in a different video, and it's mentioned in the WAPO. Is SEAL Team 6 already on the ground in Venezuela? Is SEAL Team 6 already in the region? Now, why do I say that? Because according to the Washington Post, the military unit that is building these target packages to strike the narco terrorists is DevGru. It is SEAL Team 6. Now, I'm going to end the poll on Hegseth. 80% of you say you stand with it. We have 400 votes. 80% of you say that you stand with Hegseth. I'm going to end that poll right now. There you go. 80% of the viewers are with Hegseth. SEAL Team 6, for those of you watching this, I'm sure most of you know what SEAL Team 6 is. For those of you who don't know what SEAL Team 6 is, it is the Navy's Tier 1 direct action counterterrorism hostage rescue unit. They do all sorts of stuff. They kick in doors and take out bad guys. They rescue hostages, but they can also do recon, surveillance, intel. It is a Tier 1 JSOC unit. It is the Navy's version of Delta Force. The big difference between SEAL Team 6 and Delta Force is Delta Force can draw from across the DoD. SEAL Team 6 takes from what are known as the white side or vanilla SEAL teams. Is SEAL Team 6 in Venezuela, as the Washington Post reported, and what does it mean if SEAL Team 6 is in Venezuela? If SEAL Team 6 is already in Venezuela, it's over for Maduro. It is 1,000% over for Maduro if that is the case. Because once Tier 1 operators show up to start mapping out targets, you can guarantee whoever they're coming for is going to get crushed. I don't care if it's Delta. I don't care if it's SEAL Team 6. SEAL Team 6, when they get put onto you and they're ordered to take you out, and they could be heavily involved in securing different ports, heavily involved in securing oil fields, or they could be heavily involved in getting Maduro directly. That is a game changer, and that is the first public reporting. Now, we've heard whispers about Black Ops, the CIA, all that stuff, but that is the first public reporting we have seen that SEAL Team 6 is on the ground. And that, if you're Nicolas Maduro, should scare the shit out of you, to be quite honest, because if I was a bad guy, it would absolutely terrify me, no question about it. As for Maduro, he is now begging for help. I'm going to put this on the screen for you here. Let me get this up. This comes from Fox News. Give me 1 second. So this comes from Fox News. Maduro begs OPEC for help as Trump ramps up the pressure. Experts weigh in. So it says, President Maduro's appeal to oil-rich nations Sunday laid bare just how isolated he has become, a Latin American oil expert said, before describing Venezuela as broke and drowning in $150 billion of debt. And what's crazy about that is Venezuela used to be one of the richest countries in the world before they went socialist, communist, whatever you want to call it, became very corrupt. Chavez stole the money. Maduro steals the money. It says the Venezuelan dictator's plea came in a letter in which he appealed to OPEC for support, claiming that U.S. direct aggression was undermining Venezuela's energy sector and threatening global oil stability. In a letter to OPEC Secretary Haitham al-Ghais, and published by Venezuelan Foreign Minister Yvonne Gill, Maduro wrote, I hope to count on your best efforts to help stop this aggression, which is growing stronger and seriously threatens the balance of the international energy market, both for producing and consuming countries. So Maduro right now is begging OPEC, the major oil nations, to come save his ass. And do we think they're going to do that? No, because the OPEC nations are allied with the United States of America. And if he gets knocked out, it only actually helps them. So OPEC is 1,000% not coming to his defense. That is something I can guarantee you. He is absolutely, he's on his own. He's on his own. All right, we've got SEAL Team 6 knows what they're doing. You're damn right they know what. You're damn right they know what they're doing. Someone says, do you want to mention the Dead SEAL Team 6 team? What Dead SEAL Team 6 team? If you've read that somewhere, I certainly have not seen it. No one I know in SEAL Team 6 has told me that. But we've got some more on Maduro. So Maduro's begging the world for help, but will help come? It doesn't appear like it will, with this report coming out that China and Russia and Iran are not prepared to intervene to fight the United States of America on Venezuela's behalf. It says no help will come to Maduro. Venezuela, amid U.S. tensions, cannot count on allies. The Wall Street Journal reports that neither Russia, China, nor Iran are prepared to intervene, despite years of anti-American rhetoric. Caracas' network of allies is falling apart. Cuba, Iran, and Nicaragua are too economically weak. Russia's bogged down in the war with Ukraine, while China is preoccupied with its own problems. Moscow and Beijing are focused on building relations with Trump and are unwilling to spend political capital on Maduro. So that is largely true. The only help that it appears that has been given to Maduro is Russia flew in some planes that allegedly had air defense systems on them. But we don't know much more past that. And the air defense systems that it's believed Russia sent to Venezuela are air defense systems that are more than 50 years old. Now, some of you might be asking, what is Maduro doing in this moment? This is Maduro. I can't believe this is real. He has been told if he wants to leave the country with his life, he must, or if he wants to live, he must flee the country. And he told the U.S. he wasn't going to do that. So he's staring down the might of the U.S. military. You'd think he'd be pretty nervous. And instead, let's watch this dumbass dance. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Look at this fool. Look at this complete. I'm just going to leave it pause there. Look at this complete and total fool getting ready to get rocked and rolled by the United States. And he's dancing instead of running for his life and packing his bags. I truly am stunned. We got some more super chats rolling in about Venezuela, Russia, and elsewhere. So keep them coming. I'll keep reading them. Russia is currently the largest exporter of naphtha, while Taiwan has become the largest buyer of Russian naphtha, required to refine Venezuelan oil. Yes, that's why Russia ships it to them. That's why Russia is a major player in this. And cutting off Venezuela from Russia is also a good thing. So that is what it was on the Russian ship, allegedly. I'm sure there were other things that could have been on the ship, advisors, weapons. That's why the U.S. military does not want that ship to make it to Venezuela. So we've got SEAL Team 6 is just waiting on the order to kick the door down without a doubt. Without a doubt, SEAL Team 6 is just waiting for the go order to get rid of them. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so we're back on Hegseth for this war crime. Can it be proven without a doubt the smugglers were defenseless? No, they could have had grenades, pistols, so not a war crime. Do you guys agree with that? Do you agree this was not a war crime? Let me know in the comments below. While you're doing that, I'm going to fire up another poll for you guys. Does Maduro need to go? Let's get the poll going. So we just put up another poll, so you guys can see that. All right, what else we got on Maduro here? So I'm going to show you this video from Trump talking about how we are bringing strikes on land are 100% coming. Let's watch what President Trump had to say.
We lost last year. I think it was more than that, but, people don't like saying it because they always said 100,000, 115,000, numbers we've been hearing for years. So we lost last year more than 200,000 people, dead people, ruined families beyond the 200,000. And those 200,000, that family will never be the same. But these people have killed over 200,000 people, actually killed over 200,000 people last year. And those numbers are down. Those numbers are down. They're way down. And they're down because we're doing these strikes. And we're going to start doing those strikes on land, too. The land is much easier. Much easier. And we know the routes they take. We know everything about them. We know where they live. We know where the bad ones live. And we're going to start that very soon, too.
Mr. President, thank you so much, Mr.
You know
President.
what, when we start that, we're going to drive those numbers down so low. And then you're going to have families be able to live without the fear of their son or daughter just having a pill to have a little fun and ending up dying within a period of 60 seconds, right? No, we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let it continue to happen. What Biden did to this country by allowing all these people, and I call them animals in many cases, I think they're animals, to come into our country and destroy our country and let all those drugs pour in. Let people just walk across the border like it was nothing. You look at them, a lot of them, you say, oh, let's not discriminate. I'm not talking about color. I'm just talking about, you look into the eyes of some of these people, we're smart, and you see a killer. Come on in, just come on in. 11,888 murderers. Many of them committed more than one murder. He allowed them into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. But he also allowed drugs to come in at record numbers, and hundreds of thousands of people a year died. And we're taking those son of a bitches out.
So did you catch that right at the end? I'm going to play this again. This is where Trump says they're taking those sons of bitches out. I mean, this is like, he's almost got like a sheriff in a good Western movie vibe to him. Like, we're just going to take these sons of bitches out. It's almost like Clint Eastwood is talking, or John Dutton from Yellowstone is talking. Let's watch that again.
Drugs to come in at record numbers, and hundreds of thousands of people a year died. And we're taking those son of a bitches out.
That is epic. So that is Trump saying the strikes on land are going to be beginning soon. And we've got one more from JD Vance. Get your questions in. We will answer more questions as soon as we get this one from Vance. So Vance says, I'll add, we've been told for decades the U.S. military must go everywhere and do the impossible all over the world. But the red line from permanent Washington is using the military to destroy narco-terrorists in our own hemisphere. So Vice President J.D. Vance is calling out the clowns and buffoons who are upset that we're using our military that we pay for to protect our own hemisphere. We live here. This is our home. This is our part of the world. And if you threaten it, whether you're Maduro, a drug cartel leader, which Maduro is, or anyone else, we are not going to hesitate to wipe you out, and you will be shown no mercy. No mercy. We might have to start calling this the No Mercy Show. All right. Let's see what we got for comments. I'm going to pull this off the screen. So here we go. They're joking Maduro had a 45-47 hat on, or did he actually have a 45-47 hat on? I couldn't tell. Maybe I'll have to go take a look. And then we've got Pedros Josh E8I 1999. Thank you very much. Big super chat, $20. Born and raised in Venezuela until I was 20. Now living in Houston. Maduro and his entire political party members have to go straight to jail for life. Not a single left winger has the right to have an opinion on this, period. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Maduro going to jail. I'm also fine with him just, getting neutralized in any fashion necessary. You can't let criminals and scumbags thrive in our hemisphere. And that goes for the person in Colombia. Let me put this up on the screen for you. Make sure that I can show you this one. I think I should have it here. Give me a moment. It's right here. I got it. Hang tight. So this was Trump talking about whether or not we are going to go into Colombia, which is a massive cocaine manufacturing country. The president of Colombia has also threatened to take out Trump. Threatening the president of the United States might be the dumbest thing anyone could ever do. It's stupidity at the highest level. You are threatening the people of America. We're not taking that. No. We're not letting anyone threaten us. No chance in hell. Let's watch it.
Yeah, I'll elaborate. If they come in through a certain country or any country, or if we think they're building mills for whether it's fentanyl or cocaine. I hear Colombia, the country of Colombia, is making cocaine. They have cocaine manufacturing plants, okay? And then they sell us their cocaine. We appreciate that very much. But yeah, anybody that's doing that and selling it into our country is subject to attack.
So not necessarily just Venezuela.
No, not just Venezuela. No. Venezuela's been very bad. Venezuela's been really bad in something else, probably worse than most, but a lot of other people do it too. They would send murderers into our country. They would empty their jails into our country. They send people into our country that we don't want. They sent their drug dealers and their drug people into our country. They sent people. Yeah. Well,
So right there, President Trump is saying Colombia is very much in play. All right, let's get to roll into some audience questions. Do you think a military draft will start if the U.S. and Venezuela go out to full-out war? No chance. Completely unnecessary. We do not need a military draft to handle Venezuela. Venezuela's military will run for the hills. The people of Venezuela will rise up. The people of Venezuela hate Maduro. They hate Maduro. I mean, Iraq in the second Gulf War, Iraq 2.0, Iraq had a top 5 military in the world, manpower size, some of the most tanks in the world, and that whole war was over in a couple weeks. Now, the insurgency is a totally different subject. Venezuela has nothing like that. They've got old, antiquated air defenses. Their people hate Maduro. They are not ready to die for Maduro. So, no, we will not need the draft. You might need more troops than are there now if you plan on actually going in outright. But this is going to be a war that is mostly fought from the air. This is going to be a war that is cruise missiles and bombers more than it is anything else. Now, could you have Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 go in? Absolutely. Could you have the Army Rangers go in? Could you have the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit go in? No question about it. But this is not going to be a war in the sense of we're going to have 500,000 troops. Completely unnecessary. So, no, there will be no draft. The only thing I could ever think of that could possibly bring the draft back to the United States, got a lot of hair. I need to go get a haircut. If World War III broke out, where we're fighting on multiple different fronts, NATO against Russia and China, China against all of Asia, maybe then. But even then, I highly doubt the draft is ever coming back. We seem to do more than well enough without it. All right, we got some more super chats rolling in. Brian Schneider, I mistakenly hit no on the last poll. Damn thumb. Anyway, is a great advantage for the U.S. to determine China and Russia and keep the drugs away. Yes, guys, we cannot press this enough. In our current poll with Maduro, does Maduro need to go? 96% of you have voted yes. 96% of you want to see Maduro go. It's not just about drugs. It's not just about cutting off China's access to Venezuelan oil. It is about a variety of things, and they all add up to the United States needing to take action. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but all of those are critical points that are considered in this. All right, Tony 2A bet. To pull the Gerald Ford out of the Mediterranean and have it sent back this way tells you a lot. This is in a playtime campaign. This is real. Absolutely. You don't move aircraft carriers around the world and their escort ships, which are loaded with cruise missiles. You don't bring that much firepower to a fight unless you plan on using it. This now, I can't tell you, oh, we're going to bomb them today, we're going to bomb them tomorrow, because I obviously do not know exactly when this is going to happen. Believe it or not, President Trump doesn't call me ahead of time and let me know. But yes, the fact we brought an aircraft carrier tells you everything you need to know. So we got Delta Force will do the kill. The planes are a big distraction. I don't know if I agree with that. We might not need to send people in. We've got enough air power and cruise missiles to annihilate them before a single troop has to hit the ground. Now, is Delta Force more than qualified to go in and smash targets and grab people? It's what they do. It's the Army's Tier 1 unit. It's the Army's unit. It's their counterpart to SEAL Team 6. Delta came first. SEAL Team 6 came second. Delta Force could absolutely get that job done, but it might not even be necessary. All right, let's see what else you got. Hold on, I'm trying to get this up. All right, the United States already knows where all of Venezuela's critical infrastructure military bases would be 2 hours. Multiple outcomes, I say, keep maximum pressure, 50 million bounty, no boots. So this guy, Crispy9775, does not want to see boots on the ground. He wants us to just go in with air power and hit him that way. Not a bad idea. My guess is that's probably what you're going to see happen. We need to bring the wealth back to Venezuela. People, they were robbed by socialists. They absolutely were robbed by socialists. Maduro became a billionaire. Chavez became a billionaire. Chavez's daughter, I believe, is a billionaire. How did all these people Isn't it quite odd that all of a sudden, when you become the leader of Venezuela, you become a billionaire, but everyone else is now poor? Pretty weird how that works out. Let's see what else we got. Keep your comments coming. So someone says, my son is down there on one of our ships, praying everything goes as planned. Everyone have a blessed day. We're praying for your son's safety. We're praying for your family. Thank you for your son's service. That means a lot. This guy's saying we've already got SF, Rangers, and Raiders and SEALs are already in Venezuela. Well, we know SEAL Team 6 is, according to the Washington Post. I haven't seen any reports about any other units, but you know what? It's a crazy world. Task Force Orange could certainly be there. Lots of units could be in play. Scooby and Shaggy are currently in Venezuela, locating where all the snacks are. What are we waiting on to strike? Well, this is a good question. Let's talk about this for a second. My theory is, and I want to keep in mind this is just a theory. My theory is we're waiting to strike because I'm going to raise my chair a little bit here. My theory is we're waiting to strike because we want to give every opportunity possible to not have to put boots on the ground or not to have to use the missiles. We might want to save them if we can. So that could be why we are waiting to strike. I mean, again, I don't know, but my guess is they want to give this every opportunity to play out without having to do it, and hope Maduro flees. They're saying he might go to Turkey, but hope that Maduro flees. That would be my guess. My question is this: when Maduro is taken out, will it become like Somalia, where they had no government and warlords took over? No, because Venezuela has a clear opposition leader. They have the woman that won the Nobel Peace Prize. Most of the public is unified. It would be nothing like Somalia. Somalia was already fractured into a million different clans, and they were all just doing their best to unalive each other. So Somalia was always going to be a failed state. Venezuela has a rich history, a rich tradition of being a very successful society. So I would not see it being anything like Somalia at all. Would the Turks hand him over? Almost certainly not. The idea is he would go to Turkey on a deal to stay there. He's very good friends with Erdogan. Erdogan is one of the few world leaders who actually recognizes Maduro as a legitimate world leader when the rest of the world believes that he stole the election. Erdogan, who's also a piece of trash in his own right, does not. Late to the party, but as a Colombian Venezuelan, it's no coincidence this Secretary of War drama blew up right after the Trump Maduro call. Follow the money. Well, yes, there's no question this controversy is being used by people who hate Trump and Hegseth and hate the military and hate our leaders to try to stop us from taking action in Venezuela. If they think if they can cause enough problems, they then can stop us from taking Maduro out. That's 1,000% part of this. Anyone who says anything else is absolutely lying to you. All right, Maduro, in our poll, 263 votes in 14 minutes. 95% of people say Maduro needs to go. I'm going to end that poll now. And by the way, guys, I appreciate everyone who signed up as a member. You can find the link in the membership or in the video description. Please join the channel and become a member for exclusive access. Do me a favor and just choose the cheaper of the two options right now, because I'm probably just going to roll everything back into that. And that way I want to keep it as cheap as possible so everyone feels like they get to be involved. So if you're going to choose one of the two, choose the cheaper one, please. All right. So is that supposed to be Maduro is relevant only because Maria Corina was blocked by the regime from being the candidate? Well, he stole the election. He stole the election. There's no question about it. Doesn't Colombia want Maduro dead? No. Petros Gustavo, the new leader of Colombia, loves Maduro and says he stands with Maduro, and I think has even said he will fight the Americans if the United States tries to go in and take Maduro out. No, You got Mark. If this is who I think it is, I don't want to say the name. I don't want to put his information out there. But will the strike? I know someone with a similar name. I don't know if it's the same guy though. Will the strike go down before Christmas? Trinities like to drink rum. I actually think it's going to go down probably the first week or two of January. I think they're going to start 2026 with the strikes, is my guess. But again, can't say for sure because. So this person's saying, unpopular opinion, but I think a war with Venezuela would be a waste of time. Drug wars have never worked in the past. Do we have a bigger concern in Europe right now? Well, Russia's obviously concerned, but we've never fought a drug war this way. We have never, ever, ever just started bombing cartels, bombing drug cartel leadership, bombing the foot soldiers. The only thing that's comparable is when we sent Delta Force and some DEA agents down in South America to hunt Pablo Escobar, and that ended with Escobar being killed. So I would say that worked pretty well. Oh, this is a great point. How many of the people who are against, hey, Wisconsin guy, love to always see someone from Wisconsin. How many of the people who are against the drug boat strikes were okay with Obama droning terrorists overseas, which I also supported? Yeah, you don't ever hear anyone complain. It's amazing how everyone who doesn't want drug boats to be blown up, all the liberals, all the people on the left, they had no problem with Obama going out there and setting the record for most drone strikes ever. They were totally fine with that. No issues whatsoever. So we got, thank you very much for becoming a member. Means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got Trump Hegseth, thumbs up. So we've got some support. This is taking too long. I've been waiting for this war to kick off for months now. Well, building up for a war generally takes time. It took like a year, like a full year to get ready for the Iraq war. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like the Iran bombing where we're just going to go hit the facilities, leave, and that's going to be the end of it. People treat political parties like sports teams. The left are hypocrites. Yeah, well, listen, if you didn't have a problem with Obama's drone strikes, you definitely shouldn't have a problem with these boat strikes. It's funny how Maduro defenders here in the U.S. don't know that in Caracas there's a concentration camp called El Helicoide where they torture people there. Let me look that up. Is that a prison? It looks like it could be. So it's, I'm just reading about this. Yeah, so it is. I'm going to put this on the screen. I've never heard of this before. So this, let me get it ready for you. So this is apparently an area where they torture. Yeah, during the Nicolas Maduro administration, El Helicoide became a high-profile prison for political detainees where systemic torture and human rights violations would take place. Prisoners have reported being beaten, electrocuted, hung by their limbs, forced into stress positions, and forced to plunge their face. Oh, I'm not even going to read that. That's disgusting. So this is apparently it. This is the political prison in Venezuela, and it's got right here. Says prisoners are held in a 3x5 cell. Yikes. People there have no access to water or toilets. That is absolutely terrible. That's disgusting. There's no way around it. That is absolutely disgusting. I just saw this pop up on the screen. Gifted 5 David Hookstead memberships. What does that even mean? I've never seen that before. Does that mean we have 5 memberships to give out? Oh, I see people are getting, he's gifting people memberships. That is awesome. Very cool. That's a very nice thing. Thank you very much. All right, what do we got here? Concentration camps in Venezuela, Maduro copying Hitler. I don't know if it's quite that bad yet, but that is, I mean, yeah, that's terrible. That's absolutely disgusting what he's doing. To those who are offended about sinking drug boats and double tapping them, quote, quit being, well, you guys can read that word. I can't say it on air. Otherwise, YouTube will probably. David, do you think Trump is 100% decided to attack the Nicholas regime here in Venezuela, or is it just a psychological operation? I think he has made the decision. We are going in, and I think the decision has been made. I think they might give him one more chance to leave, and if he does not leave, after that, we are absolutely going in. Give me 1 second. And you know what? Quite frankly, if we give you the opportunity to leave and you choose not to, then guess what? You ultimately have sealed your own fate. You've made your decision. We gave you the opportunity to leave. You didn't want to leave. We told you what was coming. We parked the military right off your coast. If you stay at that point, you've sealed your own fate. I don't have any mercy for you. So we got the Hangman. Am I pronouncing that? Is that H-A, the Hangman? Yeah. New member. Thank you very much. We've got Go Trump Go. What do we got? We're going in and Maduro is going out. So here, let me do this. I'm going to do a poll. Ask a question. All right, I'm putting a poll together. All right, so I just did a poll. How should we get Maduro out of there? Should we send in Delta Force and SEAL Team 6, or should we just go with airstrikes? Vote in the poll. It says yes, Maduro kidnaps family members, tortures them, and then dumps the bodies. Yeah, the guy is a terrible, terrible human. He is a dictator. He's a communist dictator, and we're not going to pretend like he's not. So we've got, I think it's questionable to double tap due to maritime engagement rules being different than on land, but at the same time, they are cartel people. That kind of does sum it up. So let's see what we got in the poll so far. So we got 70 votes. 56% are saying that 55% are saying airstrikes. 45% are saying we want to go in with Delta Force. Is that a 50 cal round back there? That is a 50 cal round. Want me to grab it and show it to you? I got this at a Marine base on the East Coast. I had to go there to do something with the Marines. And yes, it's actually a bottle opener. It says Marines right on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. So you can crack open a drink with it. Maybe should I go get a Modelo at some point and we'll use the 50 cal to open it? That's one of my favorite objects. Do I think Venezuela will target Trinidad and Tobago because of the radar plantation in Tobago? They better not, because Trinidad and Tobago is under the protection of the United States. If they bomb Trinidad and Tobago, the United States is going to come in and it'll be much worse for Maduro. I just saw we put that new radar installation in, which again is another sign that we're probably moving towards imminent action. Now, when I say imminent, I don't mean in the next 24 hours. I don't mean in the next day or two. These things take time. It takes time to build up to it. Do you still believe China, Russia, Iran, maybe even North Korea might get involved after a while? I think it'll be over so fast that they won't even have the opportunity to get involved. And even if they did, what could they do? Russia was in Syria with Bashar al-Assad. They had troops on the ground. They had fighter jets in the air carrying out bombing missions, and they still could not even prop up Assad forever. Assad eventually left. And Russia has actual ports and naval bases in Syria. It's way easier to get from Russia to Syria than it is from Russia to Venezuela. Oh, very neat. Yeah, it's Hangman, sign 11 Bravo, option 40 contract, leave in January to go be an Army Ranger. Have been using your channel to keep myself informed so I know what to expect when I'm deployed. That's a hell of a challenge for yourself. It's really cool that you're taking that challenge on. I was never in the military, but I know a bunch of guys that were Army Rangers. Prepare for what will likely be the most challenging and exhilarating ride of your life. All right. So Brian says we should just go with airstrikes because of the safety of our people. So we're at 53% airstrikes right now. Keep voting, guys. Keep voting. 47% for Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. What do we got here? Open a cold one, David? I might. We might let it go on a little bit longer. Yes, the bullet is very cool. Or were you talking about the guy becoming an Army Ranger? Both are cool. The Army Ranger's way cooler. Write Maduro on the Modelo before cracking it open. The Detroit and Wisconsin helmets are blasphemy, my friend. Midwest dudes know what I mean. I grew up in Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin. Went to the University of Wisconsin, but I also grew up a Detroit Lions fan. Have a bunch of family from Michigan. So I was raised in kind of a split household. I cheer for the Lions in the NFL. I love the Wisconsin Badgers more than anything. So that is why that's what it is. Hi, David. Thank you for your honest, up-to-date videos. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys didn't watch, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So you guys are way more important in this than I am, for sure. Russia, China, and Iran have their own battles to fight. They left Maduro for the dust. That does seem exactly like what happened. Should we talk about Russia for a minute? NATO needs to do something about Russia. Did you guys see that one of the NATO military chiefs said that NATO might launch a preemptive strike on Russia to put an end to all this? Because Russia keeps violating their airspace. They went into Poland and blew up a rail line connecting Poland to Ukraine. That's an act of war. So Russia is already committed an act of war against NATO and against Poland. Now NATO is saying we might go in there and hit them with a preemptive strike in order to put an end to this. That would be either that would end all of this immediately, or that would be the start of World War III. Are you a vet? I am not. I never served in the military. Russia can't handle Ukraine. They a joke. Well, they're not doing too hot in Ukraine. They thought they were going to take the whole country over. Syrian soldiers were paid nothing. What did they expect? That's 100% right. Can you show some updates about the flight radar? Yeah, let's check out what's up with the flight radar. Oh, this is fascinating. Check this out. I'm going to put this up on the screen. The skies of Venezuela. That was a great suggestion. It appears right now. Give me a second so I can get this on the screen for you all. Check this out. I just took this. So someone said, can you show some updates about the flight radar? I just took this seconds ago on flight radar. It looks like there is a total of 2 planes in the entire skies of Venezuela right up in the north. There are no planes over Caracas. There are no planes in the south, no planes in the east. The skies of Venezuela are currently almost completely clear. This is all right. Maybe something's going on. While we're on the subject, I'll put this on the screen for you guys too. There were some B-52 bombers. This is from earlier in the day. There were B-52 bombers practicing something multiple throughout the day. So we've got the skies of Venezuela are currently clear. David, come to Trinidad after all this for vacation. I'll buy you some beers. Dude, if I'm ever in Trinidad, I would love to meet some people from Trinidad. I would love to take you up on that offer. So the guy joining the Army Rangers says, I know this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I couldn't be more excited. Feel like I was born to do this. Leaving my corporate chemical engineering job to join. Dude, you are making a much more exciting life decision. Not that there's anything wrong with corporate chemical engineers. I'm sure they're very important job to do. Being an Army Ranger is one of the hardest, and I'm sure, again, I never did it. I'm sure it's one of the hardest and most rewarding things that you could possibly do. Very few people walking the earth have ever done it. All right, keep sending your questions in. Remember, guys, super chats get priority. All right, I'll pull this off the screen real quick. Let's get to some more questions. David's been doing a pretty good job for a well-connected civilian. Thank you, David, from a salty squid. Keep it up. My sources agree with you. Well, thank you very much. I do my best. I try to research as much as I can, and I try to make sure I get it right. Sometimes I get it wrong. And when I get it wrong, I'll be the first person to admit it when I got it wrong. So we got Donald Miller. I served in Desert Storm. I wish I could get back in the Army with all that's going on. What was Desert Storm like? What'd you do in Desert Storm? Let me know. Here we go. We've got Amsterdam in the house. Do I think strikes are happening tonight? I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is that the skies of Venezuela, I'll put it back up on the screen for you. The skies of Venezuela have been cleared. Let me check some updates elsewhere and see if there's any chatter or movement on this. I'm not seeing anything to suggest we are going tonight. Let me see. No, I'm not seeing anything to say we're going tonight. So I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I love the Venezuela people. Their citizens are much nicer than Americans. What's wrong with Americans? Don't be trashing American here. NATO doesn't want to fight Russia without the U.S. leading that war. The U.S. is the only match for Russia and China. I actually would disagree with that. If Russia tried to fight all of NATO at once, even if the U.S. didn't fight, guys, Poland's military is outstanding. Germany produces some of the best tanks in the world. A ton of these countries have F-35s. Russia has not been able to take over Ukraine. Poland's military is 100 times more advanced and more capable than Ukraine's. If Russia can't take over Ukraine, why would you think they could take over Poland? I totally disagree. Okay, people are saying, hold on, there might be some more flight tracker data coming in. I'm going to check this just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Someone has a link. Do we got bombers in the air right now? Is that what someone's saying? Let me make sure I'm not missing that. Oh, so we do have some of the Doomsday planes do appear to be in the air at the moment. The Doomsday planes are highly advanced signals planes. Great question. Assuming Venezuela is truly just a move on the global chessboard to weaken China, does Trump firmly believe China plans to invade? Does Trump firmly believe China plans to invade Taiwan in 27? 27 to 32. That's the window for China. 2027, 2032. That's when the experts believe they could be going for Taiwan. I don't know if they will or they won't, but we better be damn sure we're prepared in case they do. Because if China makes a move on Taiwan, a direct shooting war with the United States is going to be something unlike the world has ever seen before. So that is something to keep in mind. Yes, everyone, please hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to the page, subscribing to the page is the only way you're allowed to comment in the chat. That way we get rid of the riffraff. We get rid of the losers who are in here trying to cause problems. So Donald says he serves as a mechanic, but would just love to serve my country again. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your service. Poland is the best military in Europe. It's certainly the most highly capable in terms of training and aggressiveness. You guys want to find out what the Poles are capable of in combat? Go look at what the Poles did in Afghanistan and Iraq, specifically the Polish GROM, GROM. Go look it up on Wikipedia. I know some guys who served with them. Polish GROM dudes are legit. They're like a hybrid of SEALs, Green Berets with a splash of Tier 1 in them. Because Poland's military isn't big enough to have all those people doing, or to have enough people to do all those jobs individually. So they kind of have to train for everything. They are highly, highly capable, and they are highly loyal to their country, and they are always ready to lay it on the line. You just hit 250,000. Congrats. Now you have a silver plaque behind you. Thank you very much. Is that I gotta figure that out, because I already have no, I think I gotta get to 1 million. I have a silver plaque already. I've got a silver plaque. Maybe I'll roll over and let me see. Hold on, I'll get it for you. It's reflective, which makes it a little tough. But this was when I hit 100,000. So I got this plaque when I hit 100,000. I did hit 200,000 subscribers today. So I did hit 250,000 subscribers today. So thank you to everyone who's been along for the ride. Again, you guys make this worth doing. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, what do you guys think about the attack on the National Guard in DC? Absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. I'm gonna show the woman's. Let's go ahead and put the woman's photo up. You guys know I like to keep the memory alive. I'm gonna put this woman's photo on the screen. This was Sarah Beckstrom, who was killed in Washington, D.C. when an Afghan refugee who served and worked for the CIA. She was killed at the age of 20 when a gunman in D.C. who came to the U.S. from Afghanistan stole her life. And it is absolutely heartbreaking. But I will say the outpouring of support for her has been every bit as uplifting as it is tragic. So please say a prayer for her family. Please, please keep her memory alive. Fortunately, the other guardsman that was shot is going to pull through. And now all we have left is for justice to be done and for the system we have here to prevail. And I have every bit of confidence that it will. So that is Sarah Beckstrom, lost her life serving her country at the age of 20. So I think I just saw someone say in Venezuela, where the streets are clear. Is this person in Venezuela? Nobody in the streets of my city, big silent, nobody wants to go out. Well, I'm sure Maduro's back in his bunker. So Dave Hoffner says, I worked with Polish GROM in northern Iraq. Let me know if you have any good stories about him, and I'll throw them up on the screen. Lost a lot of friends to this poison. This is what we voted for. It is what we voted for. Absolutely. $250,000 is huge. Congrats. Thank you very much. We've got some comments here. Tragic. We're talking about Sarah losing her life in D.C. Tragic. So sad. The person who did it is a coward. That attack was unacceptable. Heartbreaking. Sad. May her soul rest in peace. She's a hero, just like Corey Compatore. Corey was, of course, killed when Trump was shot, and he survived. Been praying for both guardsmen. Broken hearts. You got a lot of prayers. Thank you guys for sending in your prayers. Condolences to her family and friends. Heartbreaking. I don't know if he was on a watch list or not, but obviously he should have been. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We've got a new member. Thank you very much. I say the wrong one. Fell off the plane when it was taken. Oh, that video. That video is crazy. You guys have seen the video of the plane, the people trying to hang on to the plane. Absolute, for lack of a better term, just absolute shit show. Oh, we got someone who gifted more memberships. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to end the poll on how we should get Maduro with 244 votes. 52% say airstrikes, 48% say Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. So that is where that ended at. I appreciate you guys gifting the memberships to people. That is awesome. Hola, we got people watching from Colombia. Petro is one and done. Colombians love us. Everyone remember that. Thank you for watching from Colombia. Like I said, guys, we've got like an international audience here. I love it. Heartbreak for her family. Yeah, well, it is all because they let them in. Should not have been let in, or should have been vetted much more significantly. No excuse for it whatsoever. None. We've got Wisconsin in the house. Love that. Love my people from Wisconsin. All right, what topics? Yeah, love this channel. Thank you very much. What topics do you guys want to talk about? I got about 30 minutes left. I can't wait to spend the 30 minutes with you. He says airstrikes don't work. Remember, UBL was airstruck. Yeah, that's a little different. He was in a heavy mountainous region in Tora Bora. So we're talking about the Afghanistan Battle of Tora Bora during the invasion. Osama bin Laden was in the cave system. And quite frankly, we had a Delta Force team on the ground that requested permission to go in and get him, requested permission to go in and trap him in so he could not get away. And for reasons we still don't fully understand, he wasn't allowed to. The Delta Force teams were not allowed to. And I don't understand why that is. I do not know. All right, what do we got here? Is this from Venezuela? So they are saying that the skies of Venezuela are very quiet right now. Let me double check. Let's get an update. I'm going to go here and so we have an update. There's only now, I'm going to take a picture of this. We are down to just one plane. We are down to just one plane in the skies of Venezuela. Put this on the screen for y'all. So we had two. Now we have just one right there. So there's one plane. That's it. We have one plane over the entire country of Venezuela. Very interesting. What do you guys think that's about? Why do you think there's only one plane over the skies of Venezuela? Let me know in the comments below. That's certainly interesting to say the least. Well, okay, I just saw that Tulsi Gabbard is at an event. If we were going to be bombing Venezuela tonight, I can't imagine Tulsi Gabbard would be out at a public event. So I guess that means we will not be going tonight. I don't think so anyways. Your eye recovered very well. I'm located in Aruba, just 17 miles off the coast. All is quiet. Too quiet, perhaps. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I suffered a nasty head injury was quite embarrassing, to be honest with you. No cool stories, no cool bar fights, nothing like that. But the eye does it does heal quite well. So I'm happy for that. Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard would be at the White House with the president if that was the case. Is the single plane in the air from the regime? I honestly don't know. It kind of looked like a civilian plane, but maybe they're trying to make a run in a civilian plane. I honestly don't know. Trump needs to just give the order every day that passes, more drugs get here and the more Russian weapons get here, we'll have to fight later. That's 100% true. And the Russians are bringing more weapons in. 1,000%. All right. If you guys got more super chats, keep sending them in. I'm going to keep knocking some of these questions out. Someone's saying it's a cargo jet. So the only plane in the air right now is a cargo jet. Interesting. So we got one plane. It's apparently a cargo jet. Some people are saying Air Force One's airborne. All right. Here we go. Here's a good one. Every day that passes, Maduro funnels more money and resources to other countries and offshore accounts. Yeah, you can guarantee, and I'll tell you the country he's sending most of it to. He is sending most of the money right to Cuba. That's why you have planes going back and forth from Venezuela to Cuba. He's dumping as much of his money and as much of his gold as he possibly can in Cuba. "30 minutes left. Talk Chicago Bears." Well, my Detroit Lions whooped up on you at the start of the season, but you guys are having an incredible season, so good for you. Here we go. Hookstead rocks. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You guys are the best. So this person is saying the streets are normal for now. There's tension. We want the U.S. to take action so we can go out. So does that mean people are staying indoors, or does that mean that they are staying inside? Let me know in the comments. We've got Miami watching. So they're saying it's a cargo plane, possibly full of money that he stole from his own people. He's stolen billions and billions of dollars from his own people. He's a criminal. Maduro is a criminal. He's a thug. He's a gangster, and he needs to be dealt with. And we are coming up on dealing with him. That much I can guarantee you. Free Maduro? No, Maduro's not going to be freed. In fact, the exact opposite is probably what is going to happen. So they're saying Venezuelan airspace is dead, but Colombian airspace is a freaking zoo. Yeah, there's a lot of planes over Colombia. If you want to get the flight tracker, just go here and zoom in on Venezuela. This is the one plane. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. This is the one plane that is the link I just dropped in the chat. That is the one plane in the skies of Venezuela right now. All right, what do we got coming in here? Keep hitting me with your questions. Colombia, Maduro cannot continue no more. Colombia is free U.S. airspace. Colombia is a U.S. ally despite Petro. Yet, historically speaking, the United States and Colombia have really good relationships. The problem is that idiot Petro is on TV talking about how he's going to get rid of Trump, and he's essentially threatening him. That's not going to go over well. That's not going to go over well. We don't like our president being threatened. All right, see what we got. Oh, this is a great question. What will happen to Cuba if Maduro leaves? It's going to likely collapse. Cuba relies on Venezuelan oil for energy to be propped up. That is why the Cubans have given the Maduro regime the resources necessary to survive. They've given the Maduro regime the resources necessary to stay in power, and now they've given him bodyguards to protect him against a potential U.S. strike. So they are doing everything in their power to make sure that Maduro does not fall. And that, frankly, is the reason why they are threatening to kill him if he decides he's going to try to make a run for it. So again, nasty, nasty regimes. They're all connected. So this one predicts Cuba, the Cuban regime will go down by 2026. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling some information. We've got some information coming in. I want to make sure that we don't miss anything that's coming in. All right, give me a second. Got to make sure I don't miss what we're doing here. All right. That's kind of what happened. Allegedly, according to people on the Bin Laden raid, Obama pushed the raid back a day so that he could go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And then the weather the next day was 8 degrees warmer in Abbottabad, Pakistan. And that is why the helicopter did what it did. And the pilot had to pin the tail on the wall to save everyone's life. I love talking about the Osama bin Laden raid. I could talk about the Osama bin Laden raid all day long without getting bored. See what we got here. You're a good man, Hookstead. I can't wait to watch your stream when the airstrikes start. I can't wait to bring you guys the news once it does. You guys are honestly the best audience in all of YouTube. You make this so much unbelievably fun. What do we got? Will it be an extended conflict or will we roll them in a few days? We will roll them in a few days. No questions asked. It's not even going to be close. It is going to be a rock and roll situation for sure. They do not have the ability to do anything to the United States. That is the fact of the matter. People might not like hearing it, but that's just the honest truth. And guys, if you're not following me on Instagram or Twitter and you want to reach out right here, Instagram. Oh, I'm going to try to Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. Reach out there. Give me a follow. I share a lot of cool stuff there. They're saying we should go into Colombia as well. Well, the problem is Colombia historically has not been the enemy of the U.S. The problem with Colombia is not the system as a whole. It's that idiot Petro they have running the show. That's who's the problem in Colombia. And I don't want to, it's not nearly as corrupt as Venezuela. There are drug issues there that if they can't take care of themselves, we will have to go in and probably do it for them. But right now, I don't think that is going to be an issue. It is just their leader is got to be one of the dumbest people on the planet. Anyone who threatens the president of the United States is an absolute moron. So I love the Colombian people. I love the Venezuelan people. I love the good people at Trinidad and Tobago. I love them all. And at the end of the day, it's their leaders that we have to get rid of or that we have to deal with. We got to get rid of Maduro. Maybe Petro opens his eyes and realizes what reality is. We got Shock and Awe 2.0. This is a good point. We already have U.S. Special Forces that have been to Colombia a lot. In the 1990s, we had Delta Force down there. We had Delta Force all over South America, just chasing down targets, chasing down all the drug leaders, Pablo Escobar. So we do have a history of that. I do believe we still do a lot of training down there. That's 7th Special Forces Group, I believe. Oh, this is a good historical callback. Strike can't happen till Wolf Blitzer is at a hotel overlooking Caracas like he was in Baghdad 91. That is incredible. For those of you who don't know, Wolf Blitzer was literally calling out airstrikes during the first Gulf War. But my favorite Iraq figure is Baghdad Bob. Does anyone remember Baghdad Bob the second time we invaded? That guy was electric. So they're saying a lot of our enemies will be put on the list. Well, if you threaten America, you belong on this. All right, guys, we got 16 minutes left. We'll keep taking questions right until the end. I appreciate any super chats you guys can send. It's very much appreciated. None of this is free. I do spend money doing this, but I'm happy to do it with all of you guys. All right, what do we got? They're saying, I can't put that on the screen. They're talking about other kinds of trafficking. Yeah, no, it's all bad. It all needs to be dealt with. Yeah, Baghdad Bob. Baghdad Bob was on TV claiming there were no American tanks in Baghdad. The Americans hadn't steamrolled through the country. Say what you want about that guy. He was hilarious. And I've always wondered if Baghdad Bob knew what he was doing and he knew it was all lies and he just did it anyways, or what was going on. But I loved Baghdad Bob. Again, guys, if you're not liking the video and you're not already subscribed, please do. All right, what do we got? By the way, I do want to say this. If you go look at my Instagram story, a guy by the name of, I don't know if you want my name getting thrown out there, but go look at my Instagram story. Seth Harp, we all know Seth Harp. He wrote the book about Delta Force that is, where do you even start with that thing? Well, one of the men mentioned in the book released a great video going down some points of it. You can find that on my Instagram story. It is a must-watch video. It completely debunks several chunks of the book, points out some things that were 100% factually inaccurate, and I encourage you all to go watch it. All right. And on live TV, you could see the tanks at the airport. Yes, you could. There's another one where you could see the damage from the airstrikes behind them. And he said the Americans have been completely repelled and pushed all the way back. And in the background, like Baghdad's just been hit with a blitz of missiles. I heard that when they captured him, I think he actually turned himself in. I don't even know if they captured him like they did most of the people. That when he turned himself in, most of the soldiers were taking photos with him, laughing their ass off. What will happen with all the money the Venezuelan regime stole once the regime goes down? The sad truth of the matter is he's probably already got it hidden. I wish I could tell you the good people of Venezuela were going to get it back, but the truth of the matter is highly, highly unlikely. Do I think North Korea would come to Nicolas Maduro's aid? North Korea has no ability to move power around the world. None. They only have ability to project power right in North Korea and right on the borders with South Korea. They have no ability to get to Venezuela. None. Zero. So no, they won't be doing anything at all. All right. Well, Venezuela is better without Maduro. I agree 100%. Without a doubt. Yeah, North Korea is a no-go. North Korea is not coming to the aid of Venezuela. That's absolutely not going to happen at all. You know, the sad thing about North Korea is, remember when they made the Red Dawn? So I've got the original Red Dawn over my shoulder. Remember when they made the remake in 2012 of Red Dawn and North Korea was the bad guy? That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's terrible. And I love the original Red Dawn. For everyone who's watching from Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, Colombia, anywhere, if you've never heard of the movie Red Dawn, Go find the 1984 version. Charlie Sheen, Patrick Swayze. That movie is epic. Go give it a watch. It is incredible. All right. Let's see about this. We will, I'm trying to see if someone is here. Maybe should I go get a Modelo? Should we use the 50 cal bottle opener? We've got one super chat right here. I'm going to read that first. My brother and I would love to have you on our show to tell us about Delta. You are the expert. Book it, Dano, just for the selfie so people think we are cool. You in? I'm open to it. It would come down to scheduling, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to help. I love talking with people, and I love talking about Delta Force. So thank you for the $10 super chat. That means a lot. Looks like we got a lot of Red Dawn fans possibly in here. LOL, Red Dawn, great movie. Second one, yeah, no. Well, just because North Korea has a embassy in Venezuela does not mean they have the ability to move troops halfway around the world to fight the United States of America. All right. 1984 Red Dawn is a great movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. We got Wolverines. Did you open it? No. Okay, perfect. Okay, hold on. My fiance just brought me a Modelo. So here we go. We will use the Red Dawn, excellent movie. I was sick when it opened and talked to my dad into letting me go anyway. See, those are the memories you remember forever. So, all right. So in the spirit, I know this is Mexican. It's not Venezuelan. I don't even know if Venezuela makes beer or whatever, but I got to move my mic out of the way. We'll get this going. All right, here we go. We're using the 50 cal bottle opener. There we go. Now you can all say you used me. You saw me use the 50 cal. And this thing is a beast. This thing is a beast. All right, let me put it back. All right, there you go. So they're saying good fiance you got there. Thanks, fiance. Yeah, she's awesome. Now I have to watch Red Dawn again. You kind of do. I watch Red Dawn way more than I'd like to admit. All right. That is the first time I've ever used the 50 cal bottle opener in a live stream. So you guys are the first people to ever see that happen. So that's kind of cool on your end. So they're saying Venezuela has Pola beer. I don't know what that is. Is that good? Is Pola beer? Let me look it up. So that comes from Venezuela. It says it's a blonde Pilsner, first made in 1941. Is it any good? Let me know if it's any good in the comments. They're saying it's a good beer. If someone can get me, if I can find it somewhere, I will. Oh, I didn't know this. Siskel and Ebert, the movie critics, said the 1984 Red Dawn was the worst movie of the year. Apparently, you do not need taste or intelligence to be a movie critic. Well, apparently not. That movie's epic. Dude, the amount of times I've watched Red Dawn, the 1984 version, I honestly couldn't even tell you. It is every time I'm hooked just like it's the first time I've ever seen it. And it's like they're up in the mountains. Dude, when I was a little kid, I used to run around the woods, popping tin cans with a rifle, popping targets everywhere, pretending I was in Red Dawn. That's how much I love that movie. So we've got some people saying they've got rum. So is Venezuelan rum good? Maybe after Maduro goes, I can maybe after Maduro falls, I can go down to Venezuela and I'll get some Venezuelan beer and rum and we'll see how it goes. You guys have 70% rum in Trinidad? You call it the fire water? Yeah, that sounds like a lot. That sounds pretty dicey. All right, we got 6 minutes left. I'm going to set a timer on my phone. Give me 1 second. So we're going to do a rapid round, 6 minutes. Hit me with everything you got. I'm going to get to as many of these as I can. Super chats obviously get priority. I used to be able to recite Red Dawn lines for entire scenes. Yes, I was a nerd. Don't feel bad about being a nerd. So am I. And I can recite multiple Red Dawn scenes line for line. I saw that movie for the first time when I was like 6 years old. I was in a hotel room. It came on and I was like, this is the coolest movie I've ever seen. When they go to the guy's dad's gun store at the beginning and they're just grabbing shotguns and rifles, they're like, get some 30-06, and they're getting like the cans of Cokes, and they grab a football and they're getting toilet paper and they're getting jackets and blankets. And then the helicopter comes roaring through the sky and Charlie Sheen's like, is it ours? Dude, that movie. And then remember, Patrick Swayze tells him to get the revolver out of the glove compartment and load it. And Charlie Sheen says it's loaded and he gives it to him. And then the helicopter comes back and blows up the Soviet checkpoint. Oh, dude, it is so cool. It says Venezuela was a huge resort destination before the commies took over. Maybe Trump will send the midnight hammer tonight at midnight. Could happen. Do I think Venezuela has chemical weapons? I don't know. If they do, it's not well reported on. Another great Red Dawn scene, just piss in the radiator. I usually avoid war movies, but Red Dawn is mandatory watching. Mandatory to watch. Oh, we've got a man who's got a Venezuelan girlfriend, and he says she watches the show from Venezuela. I wonder if Maduro's ever caught one of these episodes. I wonder if Maduro is trying to keep an eye on what I'm saying. Dude, you guys are hilarious in the comments. All right, we got 3.5 minutes left. Fire away with any last questions you got. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. You guys have been awesome all night. I love hanging out with you guys on Tuesday night. Dude, that is crazy. That is awesome that your girlfriend in Venezuela is watching the show. Thank you very much. That means a lot. You guys are absolutely, again, if you want to become a member, it's linked in the video description, or I think you can hit join under the video. Do yourself a favor, pick the cheaper option. I'm going to be making some changes. I think we shall see. But yes, in any last super chats you guys want to get in, let me know. Do I think the U.S. Or the international courts will get involved? Absolutely not. They want no business with the United States of America. I think it was Yamamoto who said you could not invade America because there's a gun behind every blade of grass. That quote has always been disputed, whether or not he actually said that. But whether he actually said it or not doesn't even matter because it's 1,000% true. If you tried to invade America, you'd have to fight the U.S. military, which you would never be able to beat. And then you'd have to fight every single person in the country with access to a firearm. And we all know how many people there are with access to a firearm in this country, a lot. And that's not going to end well for the bad guys at all. All right, what do we got here? Yes, the fact it's awesome she watches the show from Venezuela. Outstanding, David. Thank you very much. Dude, I love the fact we've got women in Venezuela. We love the Venezuelans. We love the Venezuelan women. Thank you for watching the show all the way down in Venezuela. You guys are absolutely incredible. Putin won't invade Alaska because everyone is armed in Alaska. Speaking of Alaska, I'm watching the TV show The Last Frontier right now. I'm enjoying it immensely. Incredible, incredible show. I encourage you all to watch it. It is badass. Takes place in Alaska. It's like a CIA thriller, a hybrid show. All right, we got like 1 minute left. We got exactly 1 minute. Send me your final questions. There's more guns in Texas than there is in all of South America. Probably true. If the Bears beat the Lions in the playoffs, will you put a Bears helmet behind you for at least one show? Show your Lions pride, brother. I might, but the thing is, I don't own a Bears helmet, and I'm not going out to buy one. All right, what do we got here? All right, guys, I think we're going to call that a show. You guys got to see me use the bottle opener, the 50 cal. Thank you for spending your Tuesday night with me. I always appreciate it. We'll be doing these regularly on Tuesday nights. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to join the membership, the links are out there. Thank you very much to everyone who already has. We got some cool stuff. We're going to start at some point doing membership only streams. This stream will always be done for everybody to join, but we will start doing a couple membership only things. So please do check that out. And I am going to bounce from here now. It's getting late for me where I am. I got to knock some stuff out before we move on to the next thing. So thank you. Love you guys. Love hanging out with you. I will see you all hopefully next Tuesday for the next live stream. Y'all have a great night.